Good morning, everyone. Elaine Lowe and Ed Carson here, live at Investors Business Daily in Los Angeles. Today, we're checking in on Amazon, McDonald's, and Deckers Outdoors. But first, let's take a look at those indexes, which are trying to rally today. The Dow up 0.3%, the S&P 500 up 0.4%, and the Nasdaq up almost a whole percent after, well, a not so great Monday.
Not so great Monday, not so great week before that,
yeah.
Not so great fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, it's like the indexes are well off their highs. So the Dow actually briefly went negative. The S&P almost did. So, you know, this is a look at the S&P 500. Man, that's pretty sharp drop. And that's after some, you know, makes those October, November trading look sort of minor. But yeah. we've had 4 straight 1.5% declines, which is really unusual. And actually, the last 2 times that happened, one was after the 1987 stock market crash. That actually marked the stock market bottom. We had like a 5% rebound after that. And in 2002, at near the tail end of the bear market, not the low, but near it, there was also a 4-day stretch like that, and there was a 5% gain as well. Doesn't look like we're getting a 5% gain today. That would be certainly nice, but even then, you know, it's like it would be nice to have a day. It's nice to show some kind of strength, but it's just one day. You need a lot of gains before you would want to start, you know, see a follow-through day before you'd want to be interested in this market. I mean,
sure, still not an actionable market right now.
No, and some of the best market days in history are in really bad markets.
Okay. All right, got it. And then speaking of one stock that's doing a little better today after a not so great Monday and last week as well is Amazon, which is rising today after hitting that 10-month low on Christmas Eve. Now, the e-commerce giant has reported another holiday season full of quote-unquote record-breaking sales. And MasterCard Spending Pulse retail data also shows retail spending up 5.1% this holiday season, which is November 1st through Christmas Eve. Better than last year, another record holiday season. The retail analysts that I've spoken to say to expect this holiday season to shape up pretty well, although, you know, who knows what that really says about next year.
Yeah, and it was sort of interesting because Amazon and a lot of other retailers warned heading into the holiday season. So, I mean, that could be a positive. The MasterCard thing might be more important because that would actually say it was the best in 6 years and online sales are up 19%. The Amazon actual report coming out saying it was the record-breaking. Well, that company has sales growth of 20, 30%. I mean, it's, again, a little bit like if you have a 3-year-old and you know, like, hey, look, he had a record-breaking height. You know, it's like yes, I mean, of course. I mean, it's like they're going to grow. So that doesn't say a whole lot. So, I mean, look, Amazon's having a little bit of a balance. You can see that just really huge losses. The FANGs, you know, that whole market, you know, sold off. So you can just see just sort of a blip there. Yeah, if it ends up being the beginning of a massive rally, you say, wow, look at that. But right now, it's just sort of like a little mark in time.
Right, and in recent weeks, that 50-day line still having crossed below the 200-day, also not a great sign.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to McDonald's. That stock not making a lot of moves today, but after a Monday which the stock fell sharply, let's take a look at its relative strength line, which did hit a new high then, and its relative strength rating is 92.
Now, one of the interesting things here is like at McDonald's, it actually round-tripped a nice little rally. So it, you know, the buy point is broken. You know, on Monday, you know, really poor action in that regard. But because the market is doing so poorly, the relative strength line in this case hit a new high. And so, I mean, the relative strength line is a great way to check out which stocks are leaders and laggards. And there are some stocks that are holding up reasonably well, but it just shows you how punishing the market has been, that stocks that are starting to break below, you know, some, you know, really have sharp losses, breaking through support, you know, that they're actually, you know, having this rising RS line hitting new highs. So it just shows you how bad the market has been.
And remind viewers out there what the difference is between the RS line and the RS rating.
The RS line tracks how a stock performs versus the S&P 500. The RS rating it tracks a stock versus over the last 6 months versus all stocks, and a little more weighted toward the more recent months.
Okay, good to know. Okay, and then lastly, let's take a look at UGG parent Deckers Outdoor. That stock trying to reclaim its 50-day moving average, trading just a little bit above that right now, but has spent some time below that today and on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually doing pretty well. I mean, this is actually one where the relative strength line does really point you to a leading stock. Stock is, in a base-on-base formation. Who knows? A lot of stocks have looked good and then broken down. So, we'll see how the holiday sales shape up for this company. But right now, it's something that you might put on a watch list and see how things go. If the market turns, if the stock is still doing well.
Right, everything's very wait and see right now.
Everything's wait and see.
Yeah, and speaking of apparel sales, those MasterCard numbers did point to about 7.9% in apparel sales growth, which that firm says is the best since 2010. So we're actually seeing pretty good apparel sales growth this holiday season.
Yeah, that's an interesting note. It'll be interesting to see if that can carry over a lot of these stores.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to follow us across all of our social platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And in the upcoming weeks, we'll give you a more solid date soon. Alyssa Corum and Ken Shreve will be hosting an Ask Me Anything on YouTube, so make sure you have all of your trading and market questions ready for them. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow morning.